Hi everybody, this is Liam Martin from Running Remote, and in this video, we are going to be talking about interviewing the one, the only Aaron Ross of Predictable Revenue and his newest book, From Impossible to Inevitable. Stay tuned. So a couple weeks ago or months ago, I was speaking at a conference called SaaS Doc, which is in Dublin, Ireland, and I was on a panel with Aaron Ross. And for those of you that don't know Aaron Ross, he really is one of the first people that brought about scalable SaaS sales inside of kind of the realm of software as a service. And the funny thing is that Aaron actually runs a remote first team. So his agency, which basically teaches people how to build sales teams and then can also give you a done for you service where they literally do all the outreach on your behalf, he runs an entirely remote first team. I think he's actually moving to Scotland, I believe. It's all in the interview, but this is just going to be an interview of me and Aaron talking about remote work, his personal work philosophy, and how he sees juggling, building all of these multiple businesses, being an author, having a family with literally a dozen kids, and doing all of that by being a remote worker. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and ask a question down below. It really helps the algorithm, and also Aaron may very well respond to it. Let's go to the video. Hi everybody, this is Liam Martin from Running Remote, and in today's video we have somebody that's a little bit special. I'm here at SaaS Doc. We've got our
Can't tell if that's a compliment or not.
I would consider it a compliment in my opinion. We're here with Aaron Ross, and if you don't know Predictable Revenue, it was definitely one of those books that, for me personally, I think I've read it 2 or 3 times. Read your second book, which was
From Impossible to Inevitable,
which I think is probably the book that you should read first.
Yeah, especially for any kind of entrepreneurial person,
it's more of a
remote worker.
Theoretical framework.
It's like a growth one, yeah. It's not just a sales book, it's sales revenue.
And then when you want to do sales, Predictable Revenue, that's the next one.
Start with Impossible.
Cool. We're all about remote work here on this channel. I'd love to talk about your experience being remote, because you actually do work remotely.
I am remote.
Yes, and the org is how big right now? How many people in the company?
Probably like 30-ish people. It's about a $5 million business.
Okay.
Again, there's 2 big offices. There's a big office in Vancouver, 20-something people. Right. Office in Cancun with teens, people, and then me.
Got it.
So in Los Angeles, moving to Edinburgh.
And so how do you feel being basically the only real legit remote worker inside of your organization?
Okay, well, I would prefer not to be as remote. Okay. My ideal mix, I think, would be about 3 to 3.5 days remote, and then like a day, 2 days, day and a half in an office.
Got it.
Having said that, I kind of have to be remote because I have so many kids that I don't have time to go to an office, even in our co-working space where I live.
You're on to 9, and you've got 10 and 11 coming, right?
Yeah, exactly, and a bunch of them are small. I've got 2, 3, 5, 7, 10, 14, 16, 20, and 20. A baby coming and a 2.5-year-old coming. So I actually don't have, and I'm a very active father, because my wife has her projects. Right. So I really, it'd be challenging to get to an office or co-working space. Probably, I'm in Los Angeles now, and it's still a 20-minute drive to a co-working space. So.
Well, and that's a major component as well, is the work-life balance, right? Being able to get access to an environment where you can take care of your kids, you can take care of your family, and then you can still actually execute in your work life.
Yeah. So for me, a lot of it actually is the remote's great in the sense that I have all the flexibility to design my days and my life and be an active father, and I drive people around. I do have to be very, like remote workers, diligent in how I organize my time.
Got it.
So time blocks with like, here's work time, there might be family time, and I have calls with people around the world sometimes. Right. So scheduling can be difficult. With the team in Vancouver, I might have clients in Europe, clients in South America, or conferences and travel. So it's a lot of juggling. So what is your kind of average day, or even better, what's like your dream remote work day look like? Well, okay, so the first answer is with kids. I'm not sure how many people have, it changes constantly because when school is in, it's one, when school's out, it's another. Vacations, travel. Also, when we have more kids, we're just constantly changing. But a typical day would be something like in the morning up and help the kids get ready and take them to school, and kind of like doing kid family stuff until like 8:30, 9 a.m. And then 9 a.m. to kind of lunchtime. I would be doing calls and working from another. Might be some midday stuff. And then get another like call, a little bit of work in, pick up the kids up at school, and have to do like family things the rest of the day.
So how many work hours would you say you put in per day?
If I'm at home, maybe I guess like 4 hours a day, like 15 hours a week.
Okay.
Like it's hard to work more than that.
Right.
If I travel, which comes and goes, like right now I'm in Europe.
Yes.
So the work can spike if I'm traveling. But in the regular week, it might be, again, like 15 hours a weekish.
A lot of the data that we've found, because we run time tracking for remote teams, is approximately 2.5 hours is really the productive time block per day that you can produce the most returns. And we've been quite frustrated trying to convince large corporates to say, well, it's not this classic 9 to 5 industrial revolution way of working. There's actually very different ways of working, and it depends on the employee, realistically. And it sounds like you've got a really good work-life balance running.
It's a system. I can't say if it's really good. It works.
Right.
I will say, like, the thing I get frustrated with, it never fit like all the kind of like emails and tasks and little things add up. But an assistant and assistants haven't really worked for a while. There's just so much in what I do is kind of personal, customized, and I juggle so much. But I would agree that for me, if I need to do creative work, I have to block that out. Like I say, the only way I was able to write that impossible book, having a big family, was having first deadlines and a partner, so I had to show up, and I'd block out Wednesdays. And maybe every other Wednesday I actually did it, but getting like 6 hours of like actual just focused writing and kind of book production in whatever shape or form really is the only way I was able to get that done.
Got it. Yeah. No, I've had an interesting phenomenon where Tuesday afternoons I now take off because I've realized, I don't know if it's the same thing in the US, but in Canada, we have half-price movie Tuesdays, right? So around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, my girlfriend will call me, hey, do you want to see Batman or Superman? Well, I want to see Batman, she wants to see Superman. Does Liz want to see Batman? Do you want to see the 7 o'clock showing or the 9 o'clock showing? And it was just a constant barrage of like disruption. So I realized by actually taking Tuesday afternoons off, I increased my overall productivity because I was actually able to focus on what I was supposed to do, which is my family life, and then I could get back to work life and be a lot more productive.
Yeah, so I know for me, I generally have kind of, it looks like a daily theme if I need one. Because again, it's changing a lot, but if I need like a production day or a family day, it's hard for me to think more in blocks, but yeah, it's like a day is like a main thing to do that day.
Got it.
And again, time management is so personal to people. For me, deadlines really drive me. Like partners with deadlines really help force things down.
It's a forcing function.
Forcing functions are like if, again, when people ask, hey, like how did you grow your business? How did you write books? How did you, once I got married, I grew my income 10 or 11 times. Really through forcing functions, like committing to things and then finding ways to burn my bridges so they had to do them. Like publicly announcing dates, the date of a book launch. Actually having kids, it's like having kids is another version of a forcing function because then you have to make more money. It's like as a business, when you take investment, you have to find ways to grow.
Got it.
Burning your bridges. So that works for me. It's not easy, but I appreciate the results, and so I continue to do it.
That was the same thing that we had with Running Remote, which was we purchased the venue space, and then we said to ourselves, well, we have a date, we've paid this money, we will lose all of this money if we don't actually put the system around it to actually execute it.
The example is like, if you want to get into shape, A, do you just join a gym and hope you go, or B, do you sign up for a marathon and tell all your friends you're going to do it?
Right. So you've got 2 incredibly successful books, you've got an agency. What's the next thing for you?
Well, moving to Edinburgh with
Okay.
family. And
So why Edinburgh as a place?
a lot of this because we've been there a lot. We wanted to move out of Los Angeles. We just want a more family-friendly city.
Okay.
We've been to Scotland. We love it.
Right.
So mostly it's personal. It does happen to be so Europe and UK is a great environment for our predictablerevenue.com business.
Okay.
I'm here at a conference in Dublin. A lot of people, there's a lot of fans of Predictable Revenue. A lot of people have read the Impossible book more than expected. So it's kind of slower in Europe to adopt a lot of the best practices of the fastest growing companies from Silicon Valley.
Got it.
So I think there's a lot of opportunity here to help people.
Okay.
business-wise.
Yeah. So
Plus, get to explore Europe a bit more as a family.
So a bit of a better, more of the family part of the work-life balance.
Basically, 80% family reasons, but there's good business reasons too.
Cool. All right. So predictablerevenue.com. That's the URL.
For our services, sales services, remote team, sales team building service.
Yeah.
And then for Impossible, some people actually are from impossible.com first because the Impossible book is the best place to start to learn how to grow a company and even invest in sales team practices and sales practices.
Got it. Cool. Well, thanks a lot for jumping on with me very, very quickly. If we have a lot of washroom sounds in the background, we apologize. We literally were just doing this off the fly. And check out this URL.
All that.
And even the worst one.
This is real life.
This is real life.
This is the example. Like, who remember the guy who did the North Korea show on CNBC, BBC, and his kids were coming in on live TV?
Yeah.
That happens to me every freaking week on webinars, sales calls. I'm so used
It's
to
probably
this.
pretty cute though, I would think.
To me, it is. It might be
Right.
annoying to them.
Got it. Yeah. Well, so check out everything down below. We've got it linked down below. And if you have any other questions, just put them down below. And hopefully we'll be able to answer them all for you. Thanks a lot.